Hey, 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 y'all. I'm so excited. We're here live, bundle live. We do this through every bundle with featured contributors. And I have the featured contributor of Audience Building Made Easy. I'm so excited that she is here. Her name is Airial Re'nal. Airial, come to the stage. Tell us about you. Yay! Yes. And for you guys who are here live, this is Bundle Live, right? So if you're here live, go ahead and let us know in the chat that you are here. Airial Re'nal is here, and she is our podcasting person here. She talks about, and you have a cute nickname, your tech angel. It's like, oh, that's kind of cute. Okay, what's she talking about there? But we're so excited to talk to you about tech, podcasting, marketing, automation, all those things. I know a few people are also super excited to hear how to make that go, because that makes a lot of people itch. I'm just going to be very
Yeah.
honest. It makes people itch to talk about tech, but it's something that every business owner has to know. So I'd love for you to introduce yourself and and also talk a little bit about your background because you have an interesting story and how you got into online business. I know a lot of people are going to relate to that for sure.
All right. So hi, I'm Ariel, as as Nicole said, and I'm a little nervous, so trying to get the jitters out. But I served 12 years active duty Army. And so my brand, sometimes you'll hear my brand, not only your tech angel, but the veteran woman LLC. And when I transitioned out in 2014. And when I transitioned out, I was diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety, depression. And so I started an online business because I'm an extrovert naturally. But after being diagnosed with PTSD and the depression and anxiety, I stayed away from people. I
Mm,
became a recluse,
no, I get that.
agoraphobia and stuff. And
Mhm,
so I would hide behind my computer screen.
mm,
And actually, I didn't realize because I wanted to help other veterans is how I started out, and I still do,
gotcha.
of course. But I didn't realize I was learning a valuable skill of online business because I've had
Hmm.
a brick and mortar before.
Okay.
I've done like contract freelance web design stuff. In the military, I did IT and graphic design. Um, so it kind of just, evolved into this of what I do now, and I help online business owners with all things tech. And I love tech, and I'm good at it.
There you go. And I mean, you are the yin to their yang. You're good at tech. A lot of people aren't. They're looking to you to do all the things tech because you are the tech angel. But I'm super excited because you're here because, a lot of our attendees of the bundle, they are, just starting out as you were, but you had a skill and you were transferring your skill over into what you're doing now. Can you talk a little bit about like maybe the mindset of going from maybe I'm working for someone else to working for yourself? Because that's different for sure. And the transfer of skills, like were you like, okay, I want to do an online business? Because I know for me, it's like I was like, I don't know anything. But then I'm like, I do know something. Like, let me go back to that. Can you talk a little bit about that translation, how that happened?
Sure. So, like I said, I had a brick and mortar candle shop. I did direct selling, and I did freelance graphic design, kind of like contract work online. So, the combination of all those things really, really helped me transition from, military into online coaching and consulting. Um, Trust me, I was nervous at first, but my thing was if I could just get on the phone or audio with people, then I can help talk them through their troubles, whatever issues they're going through. Because, like I
Mhm.
said, I started off life coaching and veteran development coaching
Gotcha.
before I moved more into the marketing, automation, consulting, and digital strategy.
Hmm.
Um, it's definitely a learning curve for many, and I guess it really depends on what you did in your old job
Hmm.
and how you're bringing those skills over. Because a lot of people don't realize that a lot of skills are very valuable and that they
Absolutely.
do translate over. And
Absolutely.
then well, a lot of well, go ahead. I'll let you go.
Well, no, you're very right. A lot of skills are very transferable. And when you start thinking about it, you kind of start going, oh, I know this more than somebody else would know. Or you find yourself teaching certain things, or, anything you can teach, anything that you have done, you're always just a little step further than somebody along. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I always think about it. Like, can you teach this? Well, do you know something that somebody else does not? You can
Yep.
teach it. It can be translated to
Right.
online business. So I'm super excited that you're here. And then we could talk things tech, we could talk things podcast, because you, along with your podcast producer, are able to provide a wonderful tech management, automation. And I wanted to talk to you about podcasting, kind of what that means, because I know a lot of us are thinking about, well, could podcasting be our way of collaboration? Can we use podcasting as our main vehicle or main place for collabing? So I had a question for you specifically about that first iteration. So you're coming in with that podcast, I know you have the clients there, and they're like, well, I want it to be everywhere. It's going to be everywhere. And what do you do at that point? Like, what's marketing becomes a huge, I guess, I don't want to say fear, but becomes a challenge for people when they even start thinking about doing podcasting. What would you talk to that person who hasn't done one episode yet, but they're afraid about marketing and what that means for them and what that looks like for their business? Can you kind of go into that a little bit?
Sure. So when I first started podcasting, my very first podcast was the Veteran Woman podcast. And that's when I met my producer, Scott Doucette. Got a shout out to him. And when I started the podcast, I had no idea what I was doing, what I was going to talk about, how people were going to see it. It didn't matter. To me, I was sharing stories with other veterans and some non-veterans, but mostly veterans. And we were just openly sharing our story. And I actually went into it thinking, if no one else listens, that's fine. At least I make like a new friend. And I
Mm.
think that really took the pressure off, and it really helped because when I shared it, because you can share it on social media, and I help automate that. Share it on social media, share it through email. You can constantly repeat episodes and stuff. I mean, there's tons of things you can do, but the
Mhm.
main thing is sharing it in a way that feels natural to you.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
know that may sound so simple, but for real, like if you're excited about an episode, then hey, me and such talked, or we collaborated, or I learned this or whatever, or I talked about this last time, because you can have interviews on your
Mhm.
show, you can have solo episodes, different things, but I mean, the sky's the limit.
Absolutely. I mean, as you were talking about that, I was like, that is the most simple answer, but the right answer. You have to feel like it's natural. And if you're doing like, "Oh, I gotta do this, I gotta put it here, I gotta put some Facebook ads, I gotta do," and you're like
Mhm.
not focused on just doing what feels natural and quite frankly easy. And I don't like things being hard. Maybe that's, I don't want to say lazy, but it's a lazy in me. I don't like things being hard. So if I can make it simple, then quite frankly, I think it'll be more organic, or what's the word? Connection. Like I can connect to my audience if it's easy for me and they feel like, oh, it's fun. Case in point, I have my podcast, Two Biz Besties. This is like a hobby podcast, quite frankly. It's once a month. It's live. I don't have to go through drama or anything like that. It's fun. So marketing it becomes easy because it's like, hey, did you hear that episode? We was going in on
Yeah.
this software. We were going in on this, like little silly stuff from pop culture. Like that's the most natural. So I absolutely agree with you when it comes to marketing in that sense. But take us with, like, so they're out here, they're marketing something like that. As far as when you're kind of setting up their automation, so like what does like an automation for a podcast look like? Because again, I immediately think what I did was just send an email, but I don't know, I feel like maybe that's not enough. Maybe that, like, what could I have done differently to set something up that is a lot more, my hands is off of it and I don't have to. do so much work
Right.
about it. How can I automate the podcasting process? Maybe a couple of ways that you could think of how I can make it easier for everybody.
What I love about automation is no matter what's going on in your life, because stuff happens in life, your
Mhm.
business can still be going on in the
Mhm.
background, even when stuff hits the fan. So
Yeah.
that's what I love about automation. That is the gift of automation. So when it comes to podcasting, yes, email, you can have your email provider automatically send out the RSS feed. I don't want to get too technical, but automatically generate an email that sends it out to your people. You can automatically generate Facebook posts. You can,
Hold on,
um,
let me go back. The RSS feed. So anytime you actually publish a podcast episode, an RSS feed is generated. Am I right on that?
yes, and that's like the computer language
Whatever
that,
that, yeah, the tech back behind the scenes.
yeah, yeah,
And your email can automatically send something out and saying, "Hey, a new podcast is there," because it recognizes it. Okay,
yes,
so I didn't know that. So okay,
really,
let me
yeah,
write
yeah.
let me write that down. Okay, no, that's good. That's good. Okay, okay, you were saying something else. I'm sorry, I totally got in your train of thought there. I'm sorry.
But yeah, you could do the same thing with Facebook. You could post to blogs. You can post to all social media, really.
Mhm.
And then, of course, you have like neat tools like Headliner, and one that I ran into the other day was Cast Magic, I believe.
Yes, I've heard about
That
it.
that automatically generates the show notes,
Mhm.
some talking points, things like that. And the show notes help with your SEO, so help you
Yes,
get found on Google.
yes.
And I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, the sky's the limit. It all depends on why you started your podcast. Is it
Mm.
to collaborate? Is it to build your audience? Is it like the beginning of your funnel? So that's like your freebie for your funnel.
Mm.
One thing that I love about the Trip Tech podcast, which is my current podcast, and my co-host Scott Doucette, is that we sell the heck out of each other. So we really, that's our trick to marketing, because
Yeah.
he'll brag about me, I'll brag about him and his services. And I mean, he is a beast at selling. Me, I'm more of a candid person
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
and silly and fun. But I really, really love podcasting. And you're not going to hear necessarily all the technicalities that you may hear from other people and
Right.
other coaches and consultants, because I look at podcasting as a way to get our message out.
Mm.
Podcasting's, I think, one of the few platforms that you can say whatever you want to, you
Pretty
know,
much. Yeah.
free speech still.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, just sharing your message, and you never know who's listening. Because
Mm.
I know with my podcasts, I always reach a totally different audience than I reach on my social media and email. So,
And it's
yeah.
funny because people are like, "Oh, I listened to that last episode." Like, you did? Like, I'm still like surprised. Like, people listen, but I'm still surprised. I'm still like, "Oh, they did? Oh, okay, thanks a lot for listening." It's
Yeah.
it's just like it's there, and people are paying attention. So I totally get what you're saying there, and
And you can repurpose the content. Like,
absolutely.
out of the behind. I mean, more social media posts. You can expand on a topic. You can. I mean, it's just a tons of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff that podcasting can do. And, I just want to highlight, Carolyn said there's amazing gifts inside this bundle, including yours. So you want to make sure that you go inside the bundle and get this, because this is only available this week, from last Thursday until this Friday. You get access for free to a lot, over 90 premium products are in this thing. And Airial Re'nal's one right now, hers is there, and how to start this podcasting thing and what it means. I wanted to talk a little bit about collabs really quick, because you yourself are involved in a really big collab. You just talked about it. Your own podcast is a huge collaboration. And when we think about collabs, we're sometimes thinking about bringing guests on our show, but collabs can mean two really great services, two great coaches coming together and utilizing their knowledge and bringing it together into one platform. So,
Yeah.
what made you decide to do this? I mean, you're doing a collab podcast. What made you decide to do that collab podcast?
Well, we initially started it with Scott as my co-host a few years ago when we did the first iteration of Truck Tech podcast.
Mhm.
Um, I can't remember exactly why,
It just
but
it,
I mean,
it probably just fit. Yeah, it
we
probably
get
just fit.
along we get along so well, and we're so different
Mhm.
that you hear the polarity, you hear the fun. I'm the fun one, he's more serious. But you always get candid conversations about business, what we have learned in business in
Mhm.
general, and then of course about podcasting, what we learned about sales, what we learned about marketing, and just tips and tricks of the trade. um, but one of the biggest things was that I sell the heck out of Scott, and Scott sells the heck out of me.
And that's the main thing of your collab. And collabs can be great when you just say, this is what it is, this is what we're trying to do, and you can sell the heck out of each other. And if you're doing
Yeah,
a podcast, and this is something that I hope everybody takes to heart. If you're deciding, I want to do a podcast, I want to do this, okay, but when you do it, come with the understanding of that you're going to sell the heck out of that person, they're going to sell the heck out of you. Like,
yeah,
that's a true collaboration. Not, no, no, I want to be on your podcast, and then that's it. It's really like we're really going back and forth and making this reciprocal. I would love to. So sorry. Let me get back to you and
it's
everything
okay.
that you do. But I wanted to talk a little bit about marketing automation in tech and your understanding of three of the biggest mistakes people are making right now, because I'm sure there's a ton you could think of, but what are you think the three biggest things as far as mistakes people are making with marketing?
So, and this may be a little different than what the answer you were expecting, but one thing is not knowing what you're selling, not knowing your product, not knowing your offer.
Mm,
I come across that a lot. And so when somebody wants to build a funnel,
yes.
if you don't know what you're selling, if you're just going based on because somebody told you should do a course, somebody told you should do a membership, somebody told you should do a low ticket item. And so you're throwing all this stuff together, hoping that it'll stick, but you have no strategy, no reason, no care about it, then it really becomes moot. Like
Mm,
when I work with people, I'm like, we're not just going to throw a funnel together. I want to make sure your messaging is clear. We want to make sure why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you serving the people who you serve? What are your goals? What are your values? Because values will help you decide yay or nay on what to do and what not to do in your business,
mm,
like
gotcha.
it does in your life. Um, so that's a big thing, not knowing their offer slash product, not knowing or not being clear on their messaging, shooting, throwing things at the wall, hoping it sticks, instead of, just being authentic and true to themselves, instead of following the masses and listening to all the noise.
Which is
Um,
easy to do. It's so easy to do in the online world, because if you're first getting into it, you feel like, I don't know anything, so I need to follow someone or do something behind someone. So that it's an easy way or thing to get into. So I can understand that. But instead, you're telling us that we need to really think about what it is and be strategic, is the word I'm trying to say, and
yes.
thinking about what are we about? What is the purpose of building this course? What will this course do for our audience? So I totally feel that. Okay. What's another mistake you take?
Um, So also with marketing automation, so going back to just following the masses and everybody, signing up for tools and not being able to use them because
Mm,
they followed someone and they use this platform or that platform. And a lot of time it's these robust platforms that they're paying a lot of money for. And it's like, you don't need all of this because
yes.
we're putting the cart before the horse before the cart,
Horse.
you know?
Yep.
Um, and so you're
Well, the
spending all
cart
this
before the
money.
horse. The cart before the horse. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
I was like, wait, you do put a horse before a car. Car before a horse.
I was trying to visualize it, but okay.
Okay.
Um, and so they end up with this expensive software that they're not
Yeah.
using to its full potential
Yes. Well,
because,
as a app sumo junkie,
oh, me too.
I have an addiction and a problem. And that app sumo has killed me with, I mean, how much money have I given to that thing? But only about maybe like two or three out of 1,000 that I actually even still use it or think of using it. So I totally get that and just say, oh, use this, use this, use that. But a lot of times, I don't even think people are there yet, or they're not even making money, but we're spending two and three and $400 on a platform that we don't even end up using. So I totally get that. Because
Yeah,
I've fallen in that little trench.
we all do it. So so my excuse for getting all this software and testing it is that honestly, I'll test out different things as they come, things that are popular, to find out the ease of use, the different features and everything, the price, so that when I do talk to a client or a potential client, I can help make recommendations based on where they are in their business.
And that's super important, especially if you're starting out with online business, making sure you're getting the right tools for you and not because the big names of online businesses using it. Because oftentimes they are actually paying $100,000 to use that platform,
Yep.
and you don't even realize that they're using way more usage for it than you're going to need immediately. Do you have any other mistakes that you think people are making as far as marketing right now, or things that we should not be
Um,
doing?
hmm. Let me think. Not having fun with it.
That's true. That's true.
Like I said, I know my answers probably were way off from what you thought I
Ah,
was going to say,
no, it's okay
but
because we are, I don't want to say taking it too seriously, but we're not, a lot of times we see online business people aren't actually having fun. It's so focused on, we're not actually having fun with all of this.
if you're stressed out, then that energy is
Mhm.
is going to be the energy of desperation and stress. And I mean, what's the point if you can't have fun?
Absolutely.
If you haven't figured out, fun is one of my top values in my
No,
business. So
but
enjoy what
that
you're doing.
it's good that people know that is one of your values, because working with you, if you don't align with let's have fun in some way, then that's not a good fit.
I mean, because there's a time to get serious, but there's a time to have fun, and you can always laugh about things. And then, that energy is what I want to say, contagious.
Mhm.
So when you're
Yeah.
having fun, you're naturally sharing things, then you take the stress out of, okay, I got to post 5 times on this platform, I got to post 3 times on this platform, I got to do this video and dance to it. And when when you're like, I have a message and I have a tool or a product that I want to share,
Mhm.
and I know this will bless some people, this really helps some people, this will impact some lives in a positive way,
Mhm.
and you share it like that, the people will come.
Yes, it will. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for, giving us those tips of wisdom, especially with the marketing mistakes. I hope you guys kind of take notes on that, because all three of those are very much true. And then we've got to stop doing that, not having fun, especially I think the not having fun. This should be something that is considered fun. We didn't get out of our 9 to 5s and come to this to have, you know what I mean? To be like, this sucks. It's too much.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
let's go back to our values and why we did this. And fun is one of those things. So let me just remind everybody that your product is inside of the bundle. They can go. You actually get an email about her specifically. But they can go inside of the bundle and find her specific. Do you remember? I want to make sure that we get the name out there for everybody of your submission. Of course, I'm
How
in like
to
10
start
different
your
pages.
own successful podcast.
Yes, there it is. And that's the planner. And it's the very first one. So when you go down the thing, it's the very first one.
And
So
it's
you can
very,
definitely
very
get that.
detailed. And then
Yes.
for those who want to take it to another level, I have my podcasting success toolkit.
Yes.
which has all of the templates, the swipe files. I mean, like it's full of everything.
And that's on the
I
page.
took
That's
all
on
the
the page as
resources.
well. That's on the page as well, right? That's the one that you gave me.
That is the paid one. I did give it to you. I'm just not
Yes,
sure if
it
it's
is
posted on
there.
the page.
It is there. It is there. Go to at the very bottom. We do have a list of some
Oh,
tools that I recommended, and Airial Re'nal's is there. So if you're like, I want the templates, I want this, I want all of it. Nicole, let me get the whole thing from her. She's who I want to talk to. I want to learn from her. Go down there and get it. Now that is a paid product. That one is not free, but she's giving you a lot of value in her product for free for this
yes.
week only.
And
Only. Go ahead. Go
and
ahead.
whoever signs up for the podcasting success toolkit, they get invited free to a live boot camp where me and my podcast producer Scott will be there to help take them through, hold their hand step by step, going through starting a podcast or improving their current podcast.
There you go. Boom. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Aaron, I'll tell me where we can follow you so we can get in touch with you. What is your website? All those things so people know.
www.airialrenal.com. That's AIRIALRENAL.com. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/AirialW, AIRIALW. And you can find me Airial Re'nal on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Tik, anywhere, TikTok, a pigeon, anywhere.
All of them. She's on all of them. Look it up. So we thank you so much for coming here and being with us and give us some insight there on podcasting and all the things. We really thank you guys for watching. Let us know in the comments what you thought about this. And we will see you soon. Get in the bundle, get all the free stuff. It ends Friday, May the 12th at 11:59 Eastern PM. I am shutting it down. Okay. Thank
Thank
you
you
guys
so
for being
much.
here.